you want is where you wanna be. You had your fun and now you're done, so everyone goes home. So what are you doing? There's nothing to do. Well, look where we go.
So this is a spectacled caiman, an adult, and I've been planning on moving the caiman into a new exhibit. There's a few of them in here, but this one in particular is the biggest one, and personality-wise, more of a submissive animal. Is really quick to shy away from, you know, even smaller animals, whatever, you know, so definitely not a dominant personality. Socialized, good with the group, flying and everything, but it's getting colder now, and part of the problem is this one won't go in the main pond, and that's where the warmer water is. So, but right now we're going to move it into an area where she's going to stay in the water. It's a little bit shallower. She likes these kind of muddy sloughs like we have over here. The only problem is these don't really hold the heat all that well through the cooler months. So I'm going to move her or him. Actually, I'm going to check that too to verify if it's a female or not. There's a few different ways you can catch alligators and crocodiles. I'm going to try and make this as simple and easy as possible for her. She's already a little on the cool side. I don't want to cause too much stress. We don't always have to use like a rope or a noose or those types of things. So there's different ways you can do it. So we're going to kind of feel it out. If I have to restrain her and use more traditional ways, then we will, but we want to make this as quick and easy as possible. Now, the problem is if I reach in and grab her right now, you know, she could try to dart off towards the main pond, but I figure it's a good opportunity. She's out laying around, and you know, maybe we'll just move her before it starts getting really, really, really cold, and then it becomes an issue. So we shall see. Probably a good idea to say this is not an instructional video. This is not a how-to situation. So don't do what I do. I'm a highly trained and underpaid professional, and I've been doing this for decades and decades. Let me get away with this. No. Now they're a little bit more flexible than an alligator. Now as soon as I go to reach for the neck, she probably will try to spin around. She's probably about 6 feet long. So yeah, there we go. There we go. I know. You're all right. And that's kind of okay. So when they spin around like that, you can definitely see the limitations of their movements. You know, if she turns in really tight, I know just how far she can go. Woo! There you go. You're okay. You're okay. All right. Now, because I'm not really sitting on her, but I have control. She can still kind of walk around and move and all that good stuff, but now I'm holding on. I have the mouth secure. You know, I put a little weight on her. And she's more likely to kind of sit still there. But because of the way that I'm sitting, it's impossible for me to put my entire body weight on her. So it's not uncomfortable. It's just a little bit of pressure, you know, suggesting here, stay still. If she starts to kind of walk off, I can squeeze my knees together and restrict the hind leg movement a little bit and keep her from dragging me back into the pool or where I don't want her to go. She is a little bit bitey, and we do have to take her out of the enclosure to move her to the next spot. So we are going to secure the jaws a little bit, so we'll use a little bit of this stuff to do that. Just makes it a little bit safer. I could scoop her up right now and keep her neck real close to my shoulder or my bicep, and even if she's, you know, wiggling around with her mouth open, I can do it in a way that she can't necessarily, she probably wouldn't be able to get me, but why not do it the safe way? If she were to slip out of my grip a little bit while I'm carrying her around, I don't want her to get hurt, and I don't want to accidentally get grabbed by those big giant gnarly teeth she has there either. So ultimately it's a safety first type of thing, so why not do it the safe way if you have that option? And you always have the option to do it the safe way. And so what I'm doing, if you notice, I'm not putting the tape on really tight or anything. The tape, if you use just a lot of tape, it makes the tape stronger. And we're using electrical tape because the adhesive isn't really that great. Don't swing. And it sticks to itself more than it sticks to her skin. And that's important. So if I put it on not too tight, you know, but I put on enough tape that the tape itself strengthens itself, it just makes it a little bit tighter, then it's going to do its job. She won't be able to open her mouth, but it doesn't cause any discomfort, and it's not going to cause any soft tissue damage to the skin or anything like that. So there you go, it does its job, and keeps her safe, me safe, and camera person safe, anybody else standing around, so that's a good thing. And then I don't have to worry too much about that other than getting whacked upside the head with her head once I pick her up and move her. Before we do anything, let's check for gender. It's all right, you're okay. And dang it, well, it's a boy. Yep, that's a boy. Okay, all right, buddy. You're a pretty boy. You're a pretty boy. And like I was saying, see how I got my bicep tucked up against right up against the neck, and I'm doing kind of an underhook thing and just holding on to basically the bicep here. So supported, I'm supporting the chest. I'll hold here by the base of the tail and support the lower back so the whole back will stay nice and straight, and right, and you'll be nice and comfortable. She's not a big fan of me, you know, or he's not a big fan of me calling him or her for one, but also not a huge fan of this being handled and all that good stuff. So at this point, I'm gonna stand up, oh, old man knees, and then we'll start making our way towards the next enclosure. You can warm up a little bit. You're gonna thank me once you get there. Yes, you are. You will thank me. You'll be like, wow, this is such nice warm water. Why did I fight you on this idea? All right. Keep going a little faster. It's not like he's light or anything. Yes, that's a pretty, probably one of the prettiest spectacled caiman I've ever worked with. You having a little trouble walking there?
It's really hard.
Walking backwards and filming. Multitasking. I was supposed to go in first.
Oh, well.
Nope, go that corner. Oh boy. Whoopsie. Alright, here we go. Here, just actually scoot back a little bit. So we don't head-on situation here. Okay, so again, this guy is just going to be in here temporarily. And eventually I'd like to build a, basically another exhibit just like this one, another enclosure. But the water in here is like, shoot, 5 times as warm as the little mud puddle that this guy's hanging out in. And a lot of your caiman species, maybe not a lot of them, but the spectacled caiman and a couple other types of caiman, they seem to like a little bit more shallower, swampier, muddier areas, as opposed to the deep, deep water. And that main pond is pretty deep. It's about 8 to 10 feet deep. And even though it's warmer, he's a lot more comfortable hanging out in kind of a little muddy slough area. That's what we call it, the slough. I'll probably go back in there after we're done here and get a little footage of that and show you what I'm talking about. But it's a really cool looking area back there where he really likes to hang out. So at this point, we are going to take the tape off. And remember, don't try this at home. I have a lot of experience catching and handling alligators, crocodiles, caiman, all that good stuff. And if I have any kind of fault, it's just looking like I'm very comfortable doing what I'm doing. And I am very comfortable, but there's a lot of training, a lot of muscle memory that goes along with this. I keep my hands where they need to be all the time. The way that I'm moving, when I take the tape off, my hand's away from the bite range, and I'm not, putting my hands too close to the outside. I'm not even, I'm not gonna come in like this in a hook shot because bam, she can get you. So I keep my hands where they need to be, very smooth with my movements, very deliberate, and also I'm not manhandling the animal either. That's very important. So she's staying really calm, or he, keep going with she. I really wanted it to be a female. The more comfortable I keep the animal, the easier they're gonna make it on me. So if I'm trying to manhandle him the whole time, then he is going to defend himself and fight, and then he could get hurt, I could get hurt, and we don't want any of that. So at this point, I'm gonna get him a little closer to the water. Come on up here, buddy. There you go, just so he knows it's nice and warm in there. And I'm gonna kind of get out of the way. He might take a little spinning shot back at me. There you go. There you go. Just relax, relax, relax. At this point, we're just gonna watch him. He's gonna have to get used to it. He's gonna walk around a little bit, kind of scout it out. And then hopefully just find a nice good spot to hang out in the water. So for one thing, he already touched the water, knows it's warm, felt that right away. So I think as soon as we get out of here, get out of the way, that he's going to relax quite a bit and say, you know what, I'll investigate later, and I'll get right into a nice little warm spot. So we'll keep an eye on him and go from there. And then eventually, as things warm up a bit more, we will move him into the bigger enclosure to where he and a handful of other adult caiman like himself will go. So there you go.